Hello and welcome to the Surprisingly Sober Podcast. I'm Taryn.
I'm Trevor.
And today we will be talking about some happenings in the world.
I think this will probably be our most serious episode.
But don't worry, to the end we'll dial it back and have some laughs.
But that's what we don't know. That's the whole point of the podcast. We don't know how it's going to go.
I mean, I have funny as fuck topics.
Okay, let's start with that. Let's
start with the happy.
Let's start with some comedy.
I got some good news. I got some bad news. The good news is Taryn's got a funny story. The bad news, politics.
Wait, your story has to do with politics?
No.
Okay.
This is going to be a very politic-heavy podcast.
Unfortunately, but that's the world we're living in nowadays.
Yeah.
We tried not to talk about it, but I feel like after this week we got to.
Yeah.
And obviously our opinions mean nothing.
Yeah.
We're just two fucking bozos.
Yeah, we're bozos. I still love the John Mulaney bit. Tiger's wife, she said, "Beat it, bozo." So a long time ago, I was 17. I was working at good old Fred Meyer, Ralph's, Kroger, many other names that they go by. King Supers. I'm out of names for them.
Why do you know all the names of Fred Meyer?
Because on a lot of the paperwork on the header, it would just
it'll have all the logos.
Yeah.
Because it's all under the Kroger brand.
Yeah, and just during the orientation, which was 3 days, 4 hours each day for orientation, I would just sit there zoning out while they were talking, and I'd just be looking at the all the different logos. And I was like, who wants to be called Ralph's? Apparently that's the California variety.
Yeah, I've heard famous people talk about Ralph's.
Yeah. Like Bill Burr and Nia recently, I heard them talking about it.
Of the Bill Burr Monday Morning Podcast.
Damn straight.
Your favorite?
It's my favorite podcast. It's pretty easy decision.
Which is kind of weird because it's just one guy just rambling.
Mostly about sports too.
Some people are like, "Oh, the Stuff You Should Know podcast. That's my favorite because you learn about stuff that you should know."
No, I'd rather just laugh.
Or Time Suck,
Yeah.
Podcasts where a guy tells you about fucking crazy ass stories.
I spend too much time being informed. It's kind of becoming annoying. Honestly, I like to just sit back and laugh. I don't want to think about the world burning around me and how everything's going terrible. I'd rather listen to Bill Burr going off on how bad the Miami Heat's fucking uniforms were. They were disgusting. Made me ashamed to be an American.
Yeah, you showed me. So they had Miami Vice style uniforms last year, but they were just white with pink lettering.
Yeah.
And now
it's full body.
Three different colors. It's awful. The court is awful. The court's going to be there for the whole year.
Yeah.
Because they can't change that just like that. I mean, they can. They just don't want to. It'll cost a lot of money that they're not making. Yeah. With no fans in attendance. So.
All right. So funny story. So I'm 17. I'm working at Fred Meyer. And this was before I really knew what a neckbeard was. So I worked with a neckbeard, and he is one of the cringiest motherfuckers I ever knew. Looking back, though, I didn't really see, a problem with the things he was doing and saying. Because, I'm 17 and dumb. Yeah. So it's, it didn't register in my head until, a few years later that it was creepy. So this dude was, 24, 25. So close to what the age we are now. I don't know exactly how old he was, but he's in the ballpark of our age.
I thought you were about to say, I don't exactly know how old you are. Dude, talking to me.
Dude, you're anywhere between 22 and 38, all right? I can't.
It's I think I met you in 5th grade, but, I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty vague.
It's pretty, I don't know.
You had glasses back then. Are you the same person? You moved away, then came back, I
could be a totally different person sent to infiltrate.
Yeah.
And destroy you from the bottom.
I had a coworker who thought I was Illuminati because I wore leopard print the first day I came into that job.
I mean, that makes sense. That tracks. I mean...
All right. I'm Illuminati.
I mean, no, I think that too.
Dude, so. I mean, I'm Illuminati.
Oh, that could be a porn.
Dude.
If it's not already. Which those guys are pretty creative.
American Dad had a parody of the Illuminati and everything, but it's about the invention of peanut butter is called the Illuminati, and I just thought that was fucking hilarious.
Okay, we've gone off like for 5 minutes not talking about your funny story.
All right, so I'm like 17.
There's this weird pedophile.
And he's like 24, 25. And he wasn't showing me, but I was just in the room while he was showing someone else. Like, pictures he was creep shotting of other girls, like, in the store. Like, customers. And so I was like...
Like, he was, like, taking his phone and just going down low and, like...
Yeah.
Look at this chick.
Yeah. And
like,
then,
was he taking, like, okay, that's wrong in general.
Yeah, it was, like, pictures of, like, their ass and stuff like that.
He wasn't doing, like, upskirt shots that you know of.
But then...
It's all wrong.
Yeah. Like, so I was like, man, that's, like, pretty fucked up, but whatever. I'm just gonna move on with my day and not get involved in this. And, like, I could see, like, the pictures on his phone. And, like, some of them weren't, like, zoomed all the way in. Like, you could see, like
you could see the person.
Yeah. And then, like, I was kind of, like, thinking back, like, 2-3 years later after that. He's long gone. He quit because he sucked at the job and they never gave him promotion for the obvious reasons. Then I was kind of thinking back. I was like, I don't think a lot of those girls in those pictures were 18 yet. Like, not even close. But, like, when you're 17, you look at, like, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, like, all in that, like, age bracket. Like, they all kind of, like, meld together a bit because, like, you're in that age group.
Yeah.
So, like, I just didn't really think anything of it. But, like, looking back, I was like, those were kids. Like,
yeah.
They were, like, 15, 16-year-olds. And, like, if I'm checking them out as a 17-year-old, that's fine.
Dude, we were doing inventory at work and today, and they hired a group to come in and do inventory for the parts department. So they came in, like, towards the end of the day today, and we're all like, those are a bunch of fucking high schoolers. Like, they look like high schoolers. And we asked one of them, no, they're in college. And we're like... They're 20, 21. And I'm like, you guys look like fucking children.
Dude,
and I'm only 25.
Send them my way.
You literally just got done talking about how creepy this guy was. And you're like, send them my way.
That's the joke. .jpeg.
I thought it's hey peg.
Dude, have you heard about the whole Call Me Carson thing?
Okay.
You keep up on that?
So...
you watched the Charlie clip, I assume.
No, I have not. Okay, I will watch that afterwards. So, Call Me Carson, he was on an official podcast episode, right? Was he not?
I don't know that.
He may have
not in the era I listened.
Yeah, because you stopped listening. I'm like into it now.
I stopped listening probably about 5 episodes after the Casino Royale.
That was like episode 100.
Yeah. It's been a while.
They're like 210 now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, anyway, the official podcast, Charlie Moist Critical from YouTube. That's who he is.
Yep.
He's one of the...
Bees, Andrew.
Yeah. And then there's Kaya and Jackson, our favorite little Australian kid.
Jackson is the best.
He is.
I want a YouTube channel of him.
So, this is what I know of it, and then I want you to fill me in. Call Me Carson, he's a YouTuber.
Yep.
Is he not? Okay.
Yep. Very meme-heavy YouTuber.
Is he?
Yeah.
So, there's some sort of allegations against him asking for nudes or something from an underage girl. Now, all I know is that somebody posted on the official podcast subreddit, and Jackson actually chimed in and defended Carson.
Yes.
Is his name Carson?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to call him Carson.
All authentic, legitimate, and good streamers are defending the stance of Carson.
Which was?
So, the situation isn't that he was soliciting nudes. He was exchanging nudes. It wasn't like he was...
Exchanging them for goods and services. The barter system.
So, the real issue at hand is that he did come into possession of child pornography. Because she was 17. But he was 19. So
in Oregon, the Romeo and Juliet law
but nudes
would not apply in that because
nudes,
it's pornography.
Yeah, it's pornography. But everyone is saying, like, that is the issue, but that's not the issue people are talking about. People are calling him a pedophile.
And what you were just talking about, when you're 17, you look at, from when you're 17. I know when I was 17, it was like 16 to 19.
Yeah, like
that's what I was like looking
checking out a 16-year-old when you're 17 isn't wrong. That isn't a crime.
Which, especially with me, I'm born in August, so I was always the youngest person in my grade.
Because what star sign's August?
Leo.
Just because I'm a Leo, like checking out 16-year-olds has just always been okay for me.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said. I said that when I was 17.
Yeah.
When I was 17, I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
I graduated before I was 18.
That's wacky.
Yeah. So there were some junior girls that were older than me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it was crazy. The girl that I was dating my senior year of high school was about to turn 19 before we graduated.
Dude, so...
my dad turned 18 because I don't know. It was a weird thing with my dad.
The same... I'm assuming she was the same as you. There's this girl who, when we were at the graduating age, you weren't at the same school as me anymore. But, so, I'm a senior. This girl comes along who is just peak hoe. She is just hoeing through that school as hard as she fucking can. More power to her. I'm not shaming her. I'm just calling her a piece of shit.
Okay. No, that's not. I don't agree with that.
Because...
Okay, why is she a piece of shit? Not because she's a hoe.
So she was like the same as you. So she's a lot younger than everyone in her grade.
But she's in that grade.
She's 14. She's a 9th grader. She's hoeing through the school. Her nudes are all over, and like,
I don't like.
She's
that.
like trying to like live under. She was at the time trying to live under the banner of like, don't like shame sexuality, basically. And, like, some dude snorted cocaine off of her ass at a club, and she didn't tell him that she was 14. Like, she definitely didn't look 14. But, like...
Something in the milk, man.
I looked at her and was just like, yeah, I'm not fucking with that. But the thing was, she was super into, like, 3 types of guys. She liked black dudes, which is fine. She liked...
Why did you have to clarify that?
She liked, typical like douchebag, like, you know, like, yeah, bro, I drive a Subaru, bro, kind of guy. And then she liked the emo boys.
Which one did you fall under?
I fell into the emo boy.
Oh, I thought it was black guys.
But like,
because you're wearing all black.
Everyone constantly gave her shit about being into like those 3 categories. Like, oh, she just fucks every black guy she sees. Growing up in Canby, Oregon, that's a thing that you expect someone to make fun of someone else for. Because
Canby, Oregon is so incredibly racist.
Yeah.
They don't even have DoorDash there. It's that racist.
But then, like...
That's a good measurement.
She fucks those weird emo kids. Oh, she fucks douchebags and tools. It's like... It was just, like, always, like, joked about and stuff. But she pined after me. And I think it was mostly because that was around my glow-up. Where I started becoming good looking, 1. And then 2, because I was like, I'm not fucking around with this girl.
Yeah, you used to look like you were in Attack.
Yeah.
You had that hair. You just didn't have the eyeliner. You were just missing the eyeliner.
Guy liner, dude.
Guy liner.
I missed out on that area. Did you ever know, fuck, I don't want to drop names on the podcast. It's a super recognizable name, so I'll just try and remember after the podcast. But anyway, so Carson's not a pedophile.
Okay, so
everyone's calling him a pedophile because she's 17. It's like,
how old is Carson now?
He 21.
21. So this was a couple years ago.
Yeah, and she's just now coming forward. She went to what is that? Keemstar, the drama alert guy, who
I don't know who that is.
He just makes up and extrapolates and goes over the top with every story. So, like, his headline post about all this is, call me Carson officially a pedophile or something like that. And, like, just immediately, like, calls him out like that. And it's like, the issue people should be worried about is a 19-year-old in possession of legally child pornography. Now, morally, I don't see much wrong with him looking at nudes of a girl that is within his age bracket. I sent nudes before I was 18. Technically child pornography. I don't think there is a person in our generation who hasn't sent or received nudes of someone who is technically underage. Snapchat is the biggest haven of child pornography.
Oh, wait, I can say that I haven't.
Dude, I've taken so many nudes of you. You have no fucking idea.
No, I mean of someone who's underage. And what the fuck?
Yeah, back when you were like 16, I took nudes of you.
Okay,
You were
then.
asleep.
So, anyway,
But
what
yeah,
I was going to say is that I can say that I haven't because the first time I received nudes from a girl, she was already 18 and I was 17.
oh, so she's sending nudes to a minor. That's also not okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
What laws is she breaking?
No, like, I'm 99% sure. Jamie, pull this shit up.
There is no Jamie.
Derek, pull this shit
There
up.
is no Derek. He's not real. We have no
Yeah.
friends.
No, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to send nudes to a minor. Like, of yourself.
Oh, it might fall under like the I don't know. I haven't watched To Catch a Predator in a while.
Yeah.
Which is a great fucking show.
Yeah.
Like-
I remember back when, what's his name was good.
Chris
Now-
Hansen.
Yeah, now he's just kind of like gone off the rails and is garbage.
He's a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
So are we. But we have no tricks. We're no trick ponies.
We laugh at our own jokes. That's our trick.
Oh God, we do. We laugh way
Yeah.
too much at our own jokes.
All right, so...
So Coleman Carson's not a pedophile.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, technically,
So,
So what did Charlie say? What did Charlie moist critical
Charlie
voice of
tweeted-
the internet?
Jesus. He is Jesus.
He does look like
Charlie tweeted out 17 and 19 isn't pedophilia. That's all he tweeted.
I didn't see that tweet. I was on Twitter today, and I only
This
listened to him.
was like when it happened, probably about like 5 days ago. But anyway,
Yeah, I
so
don't run
he
Twitter
just
hours.
tweeted 17 and 19 isn't pedophilia, and people like lost their minds. Like, obviously, when I say people, I mean 0.01% of people that viewed that tweet, you know, but like 4 loud voices makes it sound like everyone's talking about it.
Okay, so for people who don't want to listen to, who don't want to get serious, I feel like I've already tracked where this is going because I know what I'm going to bring up
Yeah.
based on this. If you don't want to get serious, don't listen to the rest of this podcast. So we've already told our funny stories.
Yeah.
We'll have some funny anecdotes in the rest of this, but I don't think it's going to get funnier. So people trashed Charlie.
Yeah.
People were against Charlie on
Yeah.
this. So I posted a tweet today promoting our Surprisingly Music podcast.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that Bill Murray, or the band that we did, had a Twitter account so I could at him in
Yeah.
it, you know, and like try and get some traction with it.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how you use Twitter. I don't know. I'm new at this.
Yeah.
I'm
we
just
don't
now
know-
starting Twitter.
We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
So-
We just make it up as we
So
go.
I was going through his Twitter page. He does have a
Yeah.
Twitter page. And he doesn't post a lot on there. He only does to promote his own stuff. And actually the last album he ever promoted on there was Rich Sips. The one that we did. It's from 2019.
So he didn't even promote Eggy Pocket?
No, he didn't. So I was going through it, and people were blasting him for not saying anything about the shootings, the police killing black people.
So I am sick of everyone thinking because you have a platform, you have to use it for good. No.
You don't. You don't have to.
You know what? I'm sick of hearing pop stars tell me what they think about social issues.
Who cares? I love Robert Downey Jr. I love Robert Downey Jr. But who cares? His
political views don't
nothing.
actually matter.
because let's be honest, he's a rich, older white man.
Yeah.
Guess what? You know, I'm not saying from what I've heard, him and I agree on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But he's a fucking actor.
He doesn't live in our world.
He's not a representative. He's not a senator. He's not someone
Yeah.
he does have influence, but not in the way that we should. I think we glorify musicians, actors, people in media way too much.
They just
Joe Rogan. Why?
I honestly think they need to just remain sources of entertainment. I don't understand this whole idea.
I don't agree with that because I don't think telling actors to shut up, you know, if you have a platform, you can use it for that, but you shouldn't be required to. Like these people were mad that Bill Murray actually came out, Johnny Franks.
Yeah.
Johnny Franks, not Bill Murray.
Johnny Frank.
Johnny Frank? Oh,
Yeah.
It's not like Frank's the hot dog.
No.
Johnny Frank came out and posted a thing on there. He posted like 10 reasons for for what his Twitter was about for the band Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to use this is, I'm going to say this, I don't think it was right for, those, I can't remember, I don't know which specific shooting he was talking about, for those 2 people to be shot. Yes, it has this big, huge thing about, basically he's just saying it's wrong. It was wrong for it to happen. And he goes and, he's like, I'm only going to use this Twitter to promote my music.
Yeah.
For Bill Murray. And then somebody's like, they brought up this tweet that he posted. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'd see the day where 2 people were shot into space with a reusable rocket. And he posted it on that Twitter.
Yeah.
That's not political.
Yeah.
That's just that's a very momentous time in history.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can understand it, but it wasn't political. So you can't bring that up as fodder to prove your point, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
But people were just blasting him. And I was just reading through all these. So I'm just like, this is a waste of fucking time.
My favorite person to get blasted about not speaking up was a YouTube channel called Food Wishes. So it is a jolly 40 to 50 something year old man. Just, hello and welcome to foodwishes.com, and today we'll be making roast pork. That's right. And it's just this super like, hey, we're cooking today kind of channel. And people lost their minds that he didn't say anything. He doesn't show his face. It's literally just pointed at the counter while he's narrating, cooking yummy food, making silly little jokes, and people are losing their mind that he didn't speak up. And like finally he did. He was like, guys, like this isn't the platform for it. Like this isn't, if you're looking up cooking channels to validate your social opinions, like what the fuck are you doing?
So I want to clarify what we were previously talking about actors and media people don't promote your political opinions. What I really liked about this year, though, this election, the 2020 election, is that people didn't say, go vote for, Joe Biden, go vote for Donald Trump. They weren't saying, well, the right was saying that. The right was saying, go vote for Trump. But, like, actors and everything, even Barack Obama, like in the Georgia Senate runoff that just happened the other day.
Yeah.
He was like, go vote. Just go vote. It was just go vote. I don't care who you vote for. Use democracy. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Use it. And we had the highest turnout we've ever had in history.
Yeah.
We had almost 150 million people vote. I don't know what the exact numbers are. Maybe 150 million. I'm going to say right about there.
They were
both
like
70.
They were both in
75,
the 70s.
75, yeah.
Yeah.
So
both in age and numbers.
Yeah. That's the other thing that I'm going to talk about later in this podcast.
Yeah.
I have a whole list of things.
But you don't have to have a social political platform. You can just create content. If you're a content creator and you literally just post videos of Minecraft and your cool builds, you don't have to suddenly build a Black Lives Matter display to post to your YouTube channel so that people know that you're like good and worth watching.
And that's the key word, is you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can.
If you want to, cool.
If you want to, do it. I appreciate it. Do that. Do that to I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Just
like
do it.
Bring awareness.
Bring awareness to a cause
to...
that you feel. Bring awareness to a cause that you feel is important.
Yeah.
And that's what is key, is bringing awareness to something that you feel is important.
Yeah. But then, like, there's so many, like, obviously we'll never know, but I feel like so many famous people are just using, like, wokeness and politics as, like, clout, basically. Like, this is the hot thing to talk about, and this is the hot opinion to have. I'm going to blow up my social media with this hot opinion. Like, we obviously won't know who is doing it just for that, but guaranteed, there's a decent amount out there of famous people who are just saying it to get the positive attention.
Yes.
Because
I agree with that. I don't think it's as bad as some people on certain news networks and things like that will say it is.
Well, so a perfect example is Chris Pratt. Someone who is Christian and remains silent on a lot of things. So people just immediately, so what, you're a Trump supporter? What, so
Yes.
you're okay with everything that's happening?
Because
So,
he says a lot of Jesus things,
yeah.
people assume that when something happens and he says nothing. Now, it's such a hard button issue, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, because podcasts are long form, I feel comfortable, talking about this. But obviously, we're not big enough where people are going to take snippets of what we say, because people could take snippets of what we say where we're okay with people being silent. When
Just take everything out of context.
and take everything out
string
of
it
context,
together.
because I think in certain situations, silence is wrong.
Yeah.
Like with the George Floyd thing,
Yeah.
like it's such a weird gray area where your personal opinions don't need to be out there
Yeah.
as anybody. You and I, our personal opinions don't need to be out there. Chris Pratt, Gal Gadot,
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, their opinions don't need to be out there. But I don't understand why we call on them for their opinions.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand that. We don't need, like, oh my god, this black man was just murdered by police in Minnesota.
Please, Gal Gadot, tell me what you think about it.
Yeah, why does it matter?
Yeah.
Why does it matter what you think? Yes, I hope that you agree with me and you think that it's wrong. But Gal Gadot, you play Wonder Woman.
Gal Gadot.
Is it Gal Gadot?
Yeah.
I thought it was Gadot.
Nope.
I don't
Common
know.
misconception.
Gal Gadot. I'm sorry.
I am
You're
a-
very pretty and
So,
very strong, and you scare me.
my assistant manager at my job, is a huge Gal Gadot fan. She simps hard for Gal Gadot.
How could you not?
And so on my way out the door today, we were making jokes about being born in the wrong era. And I was like, I just wanted to be born at the same time as Audrey Hepburn, so I'd at least have a shot with her. Sadly, I'm just born in the era of Gal Gadot, and I just fist bumped her and dipped out.
Dude, Gal Gadot, sorry, I'll start saying that. She is Wonder Woman.
Dude,
She is a real life Wonder Woman.
she's perfect.
She's Israeli Special Forces.
Yeah.
And stunningly beautiful.
She is too perfect. She looks like she was 3D printed.
And she's such a nice person.
Oh yeah.
She's her personality is great.
Yeah.
Now, back to the seriousness of our
Yeah.
topics. What were we talking about? Oh, why do we look to these actors? Why do we look to Chris Evans, Chris Pratt, Chris Pine,
Chris Kattan.
Chris Kattan? Well, his opinion really fucking matters. Okay, man.
Dude, like, why does a $200 million net worth celebrity's, like, opinion on this matter? It shouldn't. We should be looking to, like, local black leaders and stuff like that. Like,
Exactly.
people who, like, are actually part of that community experience it. I'll take a black actor's opinion. Like, if,
Yeah, because they've gone through shit, man.
yeah, they weren't born famous.
No.
Like, they followed their dream and became famous.
No,
but
not
they
saying that a white person didn't.
Yeah.
But let's be honest,
but
man.
no. I
Their
mean,
path was a lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, like, say you got famous at 26. Just like right about where we're both at. Said right about. Don't worry, I got you.
I'm 25.
And so like, say this podcast takes off and became famous. The first 26 of our years of our life, 25, weren't impacted by fame. Same goes for a celebrity. Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace to that great man.
Yeah. Dude,
His up until his 26 when he became famous, he wasn't famous. He wasn't treated as Chadwick Boseman. He was treated as a black guy.
yeah.
So like, if he was alive today and like, talking about these social issues and stuff, I would listen because he experienced it. Chris Pratt didn't. Why
Pratt
are we
hadn't-
turning to him?
And like, I'm not a religious person. We've
Yeah.
talked about my religious upbringing on the podcast before. Check it out. But I'm not a huge religious person. And yeah, I can see where people are like, oh, he talks about Jesus, therefore he must be a Trump supporter.
Even though if you really look at the teachings of Jesus, what a libtard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like exactly. Oh, you want to feed everyone for free?
You want to feed and clothe and house the poor, and you're okay with blessing whores and tramps, and you are okay with helping the sickly?
Yeah, and didn't he forgive the person who was a traitor to him?
Yeah, Judas.
Yeah, he forgave
him.
Judas, the man who got him killed.
So according to
I just want to clarify that I always have to check my religious stories with other people because I thought Jesus and Michael were the same person because of my religious upbringing.
I forget what the name of the garden was.
Garden of Eden?
No. But Jesus.
Garden of Babylon?
No.
Okay.
Fucking hell. So Jesus sat in the garden and looked through all of time and saw all sin committed by humanity from beginning to end. And then
Garden of Titan? For people who get that joke, that's pretty fucking funny.
And
14 million.
and then died on the cross to forgive all sin. So that means he watched me fucking blasting rope to Sonic the Hedgehog porn and still died on the cross for our sins.
God.
The dude's a legend.
Oh, this is so much about you.
Dude, that is how much I miss Emily.
Oh, fuck. Blasting rope to Sonic the Hedgehog porn.
I would like to say I did not have sexual relations with that hedgehog. It was an echidna.
Okay.
Show me the way.
The way. Oh, Ugandan Knuckles. That's a
all right.
great.
So
That's the best internet meme. Out of context, it's just what is this?
yeah, dude.
The
With
Sonic...
context, what
Dude,
is this?
if you have not seen Ugandan Knuckles, YouTube it. Just YouTube it.
Click for the queen. Click for the queen.
Get super drunk or high, whatever works best for you.
Caffeinated for me.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is your problem. So, back to the seriousness of the subject. So, I feel like we've kind of talked
We milked the racist cow enough.
Well, we're gonna dip back into the racist cow.
Yeah,
but let's
with
talk
the next
about
topic.
the Capitol. I think we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now we're two guys 3,000 miles away from Washington D.C.
Did you Google this?
No, I've been to Washington D.C. I know how far it is. I've gone cross country 3 times, so
Yeah,
2.5.
But if you didn't do it in one consistent drive, how do you know it's 3,000? If you break it up into 12 parts, your math might be a little wrong. I'm just saying I want
I know that
figures,
my drive from Portland, Oregon to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania,
which isn't Washington D.C.,
was 2,700 miles, and it took another hour and a half from Gettysburg to get to Washington D.C.
So that's 90 miles. Yeah, you're fucking off.
Well, you don't know how fast the speed limits are out there. So, because it's not 60. Oregon's one of the few states who has a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Yeah, I know. I remember the first time I went...
Or 65, sorry.
I remember the first time I left the state and I saw the speed limit was 75, and I was like...
Dude, Texas, the speed limit's 85.
What the fuck?
Yeah. You're just like... I remember when I was going through Texas on my motorcycle, I was going through Texas, and I'm like doing 70. I'm doing 70 on an 85 because my bike could only go that fast.
Dude, I would be terrified to take my Honda out there. That Honda can't go 80 on a highway.
Yeah. And I remember I passed a cop who was doing 55, and I'm like looking down, like making sure I saw a sign that said 85. Cars are whizzing by me, and this fucking cop is doing 55.
Hold on, let's reenact this a bit better. You looked over in a sign, 85.
Yeah.
And you're just like, that's at 85, right? Shit.
So we're just two kids. God, we're kids. I mean, I don't feel like I'll ever grow up.
We're boys.
We're little boys. We're little boys. Oh, your kids, that guy that you worked with at Fred Meyer is going to definitely take pictures of us.
Oh, shit.
So, we need to get serious for this.
All right.
So
Capitol Hill.
The Capitol building.
Can I tell one funny story about Capitol Hill real quick? Did you hear about the guy who tased himself?
You mean me?
No.
I've tased myself before.
Yeah. No, a guy at Capitol Hill had a taser in his pocket, and he was trying to steal a painting off the wall. The taser went off, tased his balls. He had a heart attack and fucking died.
That was one of the 5 people who died?
Yeah. He tased his balls till he fucking died.
Well, you got to think about that because your balls are very sensitive.
Yeah.
Like
tased. Dude, imagine you're fucking a mother. You're not fucking a mother. You're a mother. And someone asks, how'd your son die? And you're just like, he died fighting for ISIS because that's less shameful than he tased his balls.
So, I just want to clarify how I tased myself. Is my grandma got me a taser flashlight combination thing when I went on my trip on my motorcycle. I drove my motorcycle out to the East Coast from Oregon. And I was trying to set up my tent in the dark in Moab, Utah, and I accidentally hit the flashlight to the taser part, and I had my hand over it while I was doing something, and I hit the button for the taser, and it shocked my hand. Now, the reason I know that this wasn't a very good taser is because it didn't hurt. It was just like a joy buzzer, like, ow, fuck. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I didn't really tase myself. I more shocked myself. But it was supposed to have tased me. I'm like, glad I didn't need to use this.
So basically with that taser, you'd have to go for a nut shot for any effect.
Yeah, the sensitive part of the balls.
Yeah.
Or of the body.
Maybe like in the jugular would be enough, you know?
Well, no, that's not really sensitive. You'd have to like make sure you like pierced something in the jugular.
I don't know.
You have to do it either directly on the heart or the balls. That's the way you really kill a man.
Yeah, so a guy who broke into the Capitol tased his balls and fucking died.
So, okay, I'm going to just right off the gate say that it is a tragedy that those 5 people died. One of them so far has been a Capitol police officer.
Yeah.
Who is defending the Capitol. And the other 4, as far as I know right now...
Were criminals.
Yes. But you have to think of how it was incited.
Yeah.
Now, it was incited because of President Donald Trump for the last November, December, we're in early January right now, so 2.5 months. Actually, you know what? No, not even 2.5 months. For the last 6 months, has been saying that if he loses the election, it's fraud.
Yeah.
And he has incited this from the get-go.
And not all of his supporters, but enough of his supporters are dumb enough to just believe that. If he loses, it's fake.
This is what I like to say. So, all of his supporters are not that dumb enough to believe it is fake, but the people who are dumb enough to believe it is fake are his supporters.
Yeah.
So, it's like make sure I'm drunk. I'm a little inebriated right now. So, not all Donald Trump supporters are racist, but all racists are Donald Trump supporters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to vilify the whole
base.
Because I know people who are good people who voted for Trump purely because they believe in conservative values, which I don't think that we should get away from. I'm Democratic.
Yeah.
I'm actually probably more independent. I used to think a few years ago I was libertarian, but I'm not. They're a fucking joke.
Did you like the meme I sent you this morning?
Which one? You sent me a couple.
The socially punk.
Oh yeah, I love that one. That was a good one.
Dude, I fucking busted him
to
that one.
I can't remember where we're going with this. So I don't want to vilify all Donald Trump supporters because I don't feel like they are all bad. But I just want Donald Trump supporters. I don't think all Donald Trump supporters understand. Because let's be honest, they're all white. Yeah. 95% of Donald Trump supporters are white.
Yeah.
They're old white people.
They were the ones holding the hoses. Let's put it that way.
Fuck, man. That's... For people who don't understand that reference, they were the ones holding the hoses, the fire hoses in the Alabama, the southern
Yeah.
civil rights marches. The ones holding the hoses against the people marching.
Yes.
That's a very funny joke, and it hurts very deep inside. So, let me get more.
Dude, it's okay. I'm wearing a black shirt.
With a goat on it, a devil goat. What the fuck is that logo?
The All Saints logo.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Satan's really not, saint-like.
Satan.
Saint. Oh shit! Satan is a saint. He's Saint 10. Oh, this podcast is not gonna be funny to anyone except for us.
Who are the first 9?
Wait, did God go through 9 other Satans?
Well, no. Okay, so that's the crazy thing. There's more than one Satan.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's the devil. Or no, fuck, which is it? There's the devil, Lucifer, and Satan are different.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I went deep into satanic lore. All right.
Yeah, you were telling me this the other day.
So, Lucifer is the fallen archangel. Devils are other fallen angels.
They're demons, then.
No, devils.
So demons are different.
Demons are corrupted human souls.
So devils are fallen angels.
Yeah. So there are multiple devils, but one head Lucifer.
So there's head Lucifer. So okay, I hope you've all watched Supernatural because this is what I'm going to refer to. I'm sorry, I grew up way different than everyone.
I would say the comparison is the Princes of Hell.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Princes of Hell, like Yellow Eyes from Supernatural.
Would be the equivalent to a devil.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then demons are...
I could be way off base here.
Yes. Well, someone with satanic knowledge, please contact us.
Yes. If you subscribe to the Satanic Temple, please inform us. But if you belong to the Church of Satan, go fuck yourself, you racist scumbags.
Yes. So...
you tax evading whores.
Don't even get me started on that. That's something that I'm going to talk about later
All right,
as well.
so let's bring it back to the Capitol. This was a fucking tragedy.
It was. No, it was a tragedy. It was a riot. It was a mob. You can call it whatever you want, but you cannot compare this to the Black Lives Matter movement. It is not the same at all.
Standing outside of lawmaker buildings demanding change isn't the same as breaking into the lawmakers' building.
They broke in order to stop the certification of the new president's I don't know what to fucking call it. They just broke in to stop the certification of Joe Biden's victory.
Yeah.
So they broke in specifically for that.
Yeah. So
Black Lives Matter, when they had their protests in DC, did not ever intend to do that. I'm sure there was an asshole in the crowd who's like, if we break in, we can hold them hostage and do this. But that's just an asshole.
And then like 3 morons around them were like, yeah.
Yes,
but then the rest of the crowd is like, no.
The thousands of people around them did not think that. They were shouting to get their voices heard, which is what they've done since 1865 after the Civil War. They've done that. They did that in the Civil Rights March throughout the 60s. Like, this is... What happened on Capitol Hill is so incredibly different than any Civil Rights March. Because, you know what? I'm going to stop calling the Black Lives Matter movement the Black Lives Matter movement. While, yes, that's what it is. Let's be honest. It's a civil rights movement.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to... If you call it the civil rights movement, then people can't argue with it. Or else they will out themselves as a racist. Yeah. It's a civil rights movement.
Because, like, they like to hide behind the all lives matter thing as, like, no, it's about equality. I'm not trying to... We shouldn't be putting black people on a pedestal. So if we just call it civil rights, what are they going to say next?
Exactly.
All rights matter.
No. Like, okay.
Domestic rights
I agree.
matter.
All lives matter. Yes. All lives matter, except for mine. But all lives matter.
And pedophiles.
But right now, black lives don't seem to matter. How many people after George Floyd died got killed? Several.
Yeah.
Several. And that's just the ones that we heard about. You had, I don't know if Ahmaud Arbery was before or after, but it was around that time. Breonna Taylor. Like,
Yeah.
these are just the few of the ones as a white person that I heard. Like, I used to think that systemic racism wasn't as prevalent as the far left made it sound. But after this, I 100% believe it.
Yeah,
this is just incredibly bad.
The thing that was one of the like most defining things for me was it came from the same news source. They put it side by side. One of the people who died was shot in the neck at the Capitol Hill.
A lady, and it's on video.
It's on video. She was shot in the neck while breaking the law, and this news source was like, this former veteran, saying basically all these good things, was killed on Capitol. And then you go back and you find their George Floyd or their Breonna Taylor, ex-convict, killed by police while using fake currency and stuff like that. And they're like bringing up the crimes that they did. And then someone responded to that, and you're like, and it was like, oh, you failed to mention that she's actually a criminal too.
Is she really?
She has like 3 whatever they're called, where you're not allowed near people, restraining orders against her. She has like counts of assault and stuff like that. You're not bringing that up.
So just quick clarification for people who are, I don't know why nobody's listening to this.
Yeah.
But so this lady, I'm going to run through the video real quick. What happened? I've watched it several times. People are trying to break through the last door that would get to senators and representatives.
Yeah.
This is the last door. There is an armed Capitol security officer on the other side. I only saw the one, but I know that there are several down the hallway.
Yeah.
This one is pointing the gun. You hear the cameraman say, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. You see several people duck. And they're busting through the glass of this door.
Yeah.
They bust through the far right door, and she jumps up to go through it. This is the last door to people who are elected to Congress.
Yeah. People whose lives are at stake.
People...
They had nooses outside.
Do they really?
Yeah. There were pictures of nooses. And people are like still trying to hide behind like this wasn't a planned protest.
Nooses are incredibly racist. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Nooses are incredibly racist.
Whether they're hanging a white person or a black person, that is not the go-to.
Because I would guarantee you, if records were kept better, nooses mainly hung black people.
By far.
Oh, by far. I'm not a huge student of history as I'd like to be, but I've studied enough where nooses, oh my God, that was the main tool for killing black people.
Yeah.
Throughout the 1800s and early 1900s.
Yeah.
Up until the 60s. Like, it was just bad.
You may as well have just brought like a giant thing of tar and some feathers to really shine a light on how racist you were being.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. I heard about the guy who they found several pipe bombs and several assault rifles in his truck just a couple blocks away from the Capitol building.
Yeah.
You didn't hear about any of that from the only people who brought guns to Black Lives Matter protests were anti-protesters. The Kenosha Kid. How dare you fucking call him the Kenosha Kid?
Yeah.
He's not a folk legend. He's not. Yeah. He's not Billy the Kid.
He's a criminal.
He's a criminal. He murdered people. He went across state lines
illegally.
Yeah. What is he? 17?
Yeah. He went across state lines illegally with guns he obtained illegally to shoot people illegally because he instigated violence against them illegally.
Yes.
But I saw him wiping graffiti. Who gives a shit? He should be shot.
Exactly. Well, no, he shouldn't be shot.
Yeah, firing squad.
That's how I want to go. I want that on the record. That's how I want to go. Oh, Taryn with the save. Mariano Rivera over here. You don't get that reference.
I don't.
The baseball reference. Fuck Mariano Rivera. I'm a Red Sox fan. Fuck the Yankees. So, this fucking Kenosha Kid, I mean, how many people did he kill? Killed 2? 2. He killed 2 people and
injured 1.
Injured 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
I mean, he deserved to be locked away in prison. I don't know how I feel about the death penalty.
Yeah.
Quite yet. I think it's deserved for some. Charles Manson, one. Hitler. I think he would have deserved the death penalty, but he gave it to
Pedophiles.
himself. Pedophiles is weird because offending pedophiles.
Offending
Yeah.
pedophiles actively have raped a kid.
Yes.
Yeah, they deserve the death
Well,
penalty.
I don't know how I feel about it. They deserve the death penalty. I
Fine,
feel like they
cut
should
the-
spend a good chunk of their life in prison.
Fine, cut off their cock and balls. And if they're a woman,
Then they're a eunuch. Which is not a word that gets brought up in normal speech every day.
and if they're a woman, sew some cock and balls on them, then cut them off.
Well, if they're a woman, then they're probably a teacher, so we probably need them. It seems like only women teachers have sex with teenagers.
I'm gonna need to look up some stats on that.
That's also another double standard.
Oh, yeah.
It's like when a fucking 16-year-old kid fucks a teacher. It's like, good for you, kid. Why is that?
She had sex with a student. He raped a student. That is the two sentences that are used.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. Capitol Hill.
So the lady, they got a gun. So literally this distance.
She goes to jump up through the window. She's 4 or 5 feet away.
Dude, literally,
Just one shot.
bam.
Boom. And she falls back, and there are cops on the other side of the door. Yeah, there are cops on the other side of the door
Yeah.
who are yelling for medic, but there's a large group of protesters who are blocking the way.
Yeah.
So I don't know how quickly medics were able to respond to her. And I don't think anybody should have died because this shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
This shouldn't have happened. President Trump, it feels so weird to call him out like this.
Yeah. Fuck you, Trump.
Well, it just feels so weird.
Yeah, he can't defend himself anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's what kind of brought me to this and made me start thinking about this was the whole Twitter ban thing.
Dude, no. Everything banned.
Well, deservedly so.
Yeah.
I saw a thing that said today is that since he's joined in 2009, so 7 years before his presidency,
A year into Barack Obama's.
a year into Barack Obama, he sent 57,000 tweets, which during his presidency, it was usually between 30 and 100 tweets a day.
That's fucking insane.
That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
He did so little for this fucking country. He signed so many executive orders. He signed the most executive orders of, I think, of any president that were so completely useless. That were so completely useless, racist, all sorts of things. He didn't allow
Transphobic.
transphobic, xenophobic, fucking everything phobic, arachnophobic. I don't fucking know, man. It was all over the fucking place. It was all the phobias. Homophobic. He banned all fucking Muslim countries from coming into our country at the beginning of his presidency. You remember that?
Yeah.
What was kofefe mean? What did that mean? You remember kofefe?
Yeah, so
What the fuck did that mean?
I did figure out what it meant because
No, you did not.
No, because I spent so much time looking at it and it was clear he just fell asleep mid tweet. Because I'll have to look at the tweet, but
You
it
don't
was
know that.
there was such an obvious COV word that was about to happen, then it didn't, and then turned into Covfefe.
Kofefe.
Dude, I saw someone who got that tattooed on them, and I'm like, how dumb are you?
I will bet you $100 that person stormed Capitol Hill.
No, they got it to make fun of him.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get "I'm not a crook" tattooed on me because
I'm not a crook.
I'm not a crook. That's a Richard Nixon
Dude,
reference.
I saw this girl who had a heart tattoo, and it was a dude's name, and they broke up, and she made the heart bigger and put the next dude's name. Then they broke up, so she made the heart bigger and the next dude's name.
I mean,
And
that's
it's
actually pretty smart.
But no, that's just so trashy.
It is
Jesus.
trashy, but it's smart trashy.
Yeah.
She's thinking, I'm gonna start
Resourceful.
out little because you're my first, and then my second, Earl, he's gonna be a little bit
Earl.
bigger. Daryl, he's gonna be a little bit bigger.
And I'm gonna have to start on the other arm when this one's also my baby daddy still, but I'm with you now.
Oh my god. Okay. So yeah,
Capital.
Capitol Hill. I don't know how we keep getting off of this. It was a fucking tragedy. That's
Yeah.
what it was. It was a tragedy.
It was the dumbest thing to ever occur that people thought you could just like storm Capitol Hill, and because you're standing in the building and you're standing at the podium and you took the podium and you're sitting in Nancy Pelosi office, now suddenly you get to say how the country's going to be ran. Like, they literally thought this was like a movie where it's like, well, we're in Capitol Hill now.
Yeah, we're in charge.
Look at me.
Look at
me.
We are the captains now.
I am the Pelosi now.
So okay, yeah. So storming Capitol Hill was stupid. Now we need to talk about how the fuck did they get in? How the fuck did they get in? Because there were some shots of the doors being opened for them.
Yeah.
And they walked right in like tourists. They were like looking around. Like, huh?
Yeah.
And then there was that one video. Did you see the one video of the guy getting crushed?
Oh, yeah,
the cop
did see that. Yeah.
Getting crushed, screaming for help.
Yeah.
That was the most, like, I felt something deep inside my soul when I saw that.
The one thing that their response in Portland, Oregon, where we live, in Capitol Hill, and all the stuff where they're finally on the other side of the majority of the cops. Sure, some of the cops there were clearly on the protester side, but that's a separate topic. But now that they're on the separate side of the cops, it's very clear that their Blue Lives Matter was never pro-cop. It was anti-black.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way.
It is so obvious now.
It was never about the cops' lives. It was about being anti-black. That's actually a very good point.
It was just like once they finally were on the other side of the thin blue line, it was just so clear that it's like, you guys don't care about cops at all. You care about who gets to point gun at black people.
There was this one video of this black Capitol police officer running up the stairs saying they're on the second floor, and he's got his nightstick out, which I don't know if you've ever seen a nightstick. Those things will fucking hurt if you get hit with them. And there's this white guy chasing him up the stairs, and he stops a couple of times when it comes to the landing and goes to hit him, and the guy backs away, the white guy backs away, and he's chasing him up the fucking stairs. Like, that wasn't a guy who let him in. I don't think that black police officer let him in.
Yeah.
But that white guy, he was chasing him up the stairs, though.
Yeah, but then some of the other people, come on in, the water's fine.
So I saw a couple of videos of that, and I was like, what the fuck? Why are they, like... So I saw a video of them removing the barricades and letting them, come. But then I saw that there was a second barricade behind it that was more reinforced.
Yeah.
And so their first line of defense kind of failed because there was a lot of people there, so they fell back. That's a common tactic.
Yeah.
But then there were people who were literally opening the door to the Capitol building.
Yeah.
And letting them in.
Yeah.
What was that?
I have no fucking clue.
I have no clue either. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
You have these guys, because the Capitol building is very large.
Yeah.
It's a couple blocks wide and a block long. So there's many doors in to the Capitol building. And how is it on one door you're seeing this guy getting crushed to death? Yeah. I don't think he died. I remember watching it last night on the news. He didn't die, the man in the video. They don't know what the extent of his injuries are. But then on the other side, maybe even the next door down, you're seeing these people just be let in.
Yeah.
And when you look at the pictures, there was a lot of people inside the Capitol building. This wasn't just a couple. This wasn't just 6 people who managed to get away from the cops. Like, the only thing I can likeness it to was like when I was a kid going to University of Oregon Ducks football games. Like, when I was a kid, you were able to go on the field 5 minutes after the game. Yeah. And there were people who would jump over the security guys because, you have the stadium seats are, 10 feet up off the ground, and people would jump over the security guys and run onto the field, and you'd have like 6 or 7 people out on the field before you were allowed on there.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. There were 100.
Yeah.
There were 100 people there.
The thing that shocked me most about the whole thing so I was asleep when it all happened.
I was texting you. You were
Yeah.
like, you were asleep. You didn't
Yeah.
hear. I'm like, dude, turn on the news.
Yeah. So I only saw like all the footage like post, so I just got to see the highlight reel basically. And so the thing that shocked me the most was how they didn't understand like how to do an authoritarian rule takeover of the Capitol, because if you look at so many of the pictures, they're all walking within the velvet ropes that are like in the Capitol building.
They are.
Like they were just like,
They look like tourists.
it looked like an 8th grade field trip.
Exactly.
Like they're all
They were, like,
taking
taking pictures.
selfies. Yeah. Like
This is where like a couple like like there was one older woman who was helped down the steps by a Capitol Police officer in riot gear.
Yeah.
There was one lady who was wheeled out of the Capitol building in a wheelchair.
dude, so many people I've been seeing so many posts lately of just like how cops handled other protests, and there's the obvious separation of black versus white here, but even just other groups when women were protesting about like women's rights and stuff like that in the country, there was thousands of
The
Capitol
women's
Police.
march after
Yeah.
Donald Trump was elected. Just the women's march.
Yeah.
It wasn't racist.
It
It
was
was just gender specific.
It was what, 2016?
Yeah, it was 2016. It was
yeah.
right after Donald Trump got
And
elected.
like they were met with riot gear and guns. Like
And this
yeah,
was a bunch of women. Now, not saying that they don't deserve
then
riot gear, but
in 2017, there was a disabled protest. People in wheelchairs, people who are severely handicapped, and they were met with riot gear and guns, and like were like forced out basically. Then this happens. They're met with like half those cops looked like they just like rolled out of bed, threw on a t-shirt, and grabbed their handgun and were like, "All right, time to go deal with this protest."
So it came out today that the Capitol Police were approached by the Defense Department asking, "Hey, do you want the National Guard for this protest?" Yeah. And the Capitol Police said no. But when Black Lives Matter had a protest, they're like, "Yeah, we want the National Guard."
Yeah.
So that I don't ever like. I don't 100% agree with ACAB. All cops are bastards. I don't 100% agree with that. I feel like it's like I work in an industry that is mainly conservative. There's a lot of Trump supporters in the industry that I work in, in the automotive industry. Let's be honest with that. I feel like a lot of cops are conservative, so therefore they probably are Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to call a Trump supporter a bastard unless they are incredibly racist and things like that, because I feel like some people make mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't want to, you get into this weird gray area. But a lot of people, like, they have values that they value higher, than certain other things. So, like, well, I'm very fiscally conservative, so I'm going to vote conservative, even though they're not fiscally conservative.
Yeah. So, where ACAP comes from isn't that I think all cops are the racist guy who's, putting the boot down on the black person.
Yeah.
So, you remember that video of the Black Lives Matter protest where the old guy got pushed over by the police? And then, so there is a difference between the cop who pushed him down and then the cops that kept walking, but the cops kept walking.
Exactly.
That is why all cops are bastards, because no one stopped that guy.
Okay,
No one reported that guy.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And Trump even said that guy must have been doing something. This
Yeah.
82-year-old man, I think he was.
Yeah.
Who was just walking and, so there was something that I heard that was said that was like, if you have 140 cops and one of them do something bad, but the other 139 don't report him, you have 140 bad cops.
Yeah. And
that I think is 100% accurate.
And every time I see a headline about a cop, like officially like throwing another cop under the bus and stuff, ends up resigning or being fired and not getting their pension and stuff like that, when they are the ones who speak up about a cop's like misbehavings.
Yeah. That's what's awful.
Yeah.
That the people who do speak up are punished.
Yeah.
Now, and that's why I don't want to call all cops
The police
bastards.
state
The police
is
state.
bastards.
Yes. That I agree
Yeah.
with. We need to change the culture.
Well, so I understand why they don't want to try cops and stuff like that.
It sets a precedent.
So a lot of it also comes down to then you can legally try. So if a cop gets fired because they are a corrupt cop, every testimony, arrest, and everything comes into question. So you just had one trial because of this corrupt cop. You mark them down as corrupt and send them on their way. Now you have 1,000 trials you have to address that might be brought to your attention by lawyers.
And it would overload the criminal justice system,
So,
which
like,
is already overloaded.
I get that, but at the same time, why just let someone keep offending because it's easy?
Do you want an innocent man to die? Would you want someone to be who is innocent be sent to death? No. And I feel like everybody would agree with that. Now, in order for that to happen, there might be some guilty people who go free.
Yeah.
Is that a good trade-off? I feel like a couple people who are guilty who get to go free because one innocent person gets to live their life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
Yeah. And that's why I have such mixed thoughts about like the death penalty because yes, some people deserve it. Charles Manson deserves it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he didn't kill anybody, but he taught people to kill.
He orchestrated a lot of murder.
A lot of murder. Like several murders, and he's just a crazy lunatic. And that is, he's already dead though, right? Yeah, he's already dead. What am I talking about? It doesn't fucking matter.
All right, who's someone current who deserves it?
Who's current who deserves it? Fucking Donald Trump. He just had 5 people killed.
What is his name? Luca Magnotta.
Luca Magnotta.
Is he still alive?
I don't know. I think he is in prison in Canada.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump, he just had 5 people killed. The Trump family had 5 people killed. Yeah. Did you see the videos of the rally? It was him, Eric, his kids, one of his kids' wives, Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
Orchestrated. And they actually said shit worse than Trump.
Yeah. They were egging on, like, for shit to go down.
Fucking Rudy Giuliani said trial by combat.
Yeah. What the fuck? That attempted child rapist.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, I just need to tuck in my shirt. Let me get up to my fucking forearm.
Yeah, you were down fucking elbow deep in your pants there, Rudy. You fucking psychopath.
Come on the podcast and defend yourself.
No, don't come on the podcast. If you come on the podcast, I'll fucking kill you.
That's why I want him on the podcast.
Yeah, we're going to one-shot you. You and Mitch. Fucking piece of shit.
You know, I'm kind of upset that I haven't heard Mitch McConnell say anything about it because I want to hate the guy more and I want him to come out and be like, these were some good people. So that's what's come out
today is obviously the Democrats want to impeach Trump after this because Mike Pence is hesitant to invoke the 25th Amendment in order to get Trump out of office. So the Democrats want to impeach it, but now Republicans are putting pressure on Joe Biden to stop Pelosi from impeaching him.
So I want him impeached, and a lot of people hold.
We need to set the precedent.
Yeah, so it's 2 things.
But the problem is impeachment can go a long time. And yes, he can be impeached after he leaves office.
Yeah.
So he can never hold federal office again. But it would also take back a lot from the work that Biden will have to do. Because Biden's like, I'm not going to touch on that. That is Congress's thing. I'm focusing on COVID.
So, yes, it's very much about setting a precedent. It also will basically be the callback to, you can't impeach a president with just 10 days left. Yeah, well, you guys put a new member of the Supreme Court with 8 days till an election. Go fuck yourself.
Which Mitch McConnell was very against in 2015.
Oh, yeah.
Or 2016, sorry. It was 2016.
So,
because the election happens in November.
And then, so it sets a precedent, which is very important, that a president isn't above attempted sedition. Then it takes away his 200,000 a year pension, takes away his $1 million a year travel budget that's paid for with federal taxes.
His Secret Service
it
detail.
takes away his Secret Service detail. It takes away his 2024 election bid that I'm sure will come out otherwise. So it's like, yes,
there are things
impeach him.
There are things that will stop him from that. He will stop being a tax burden on us with his Secret Service detail and all that.
Yeah,
the president
because he is undeserving.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter deserves it. That
Yeah.
man is a fucking legend.
Was he a Democrat or?
Jimmy Carter was a Democrat from
Okay.
Georgia.
Yeah, I don't.
He's a little peanut farmer.
Like, I don't know anything about the guy's political run except for what he's doing with his life. Like,
Dude, building houses for Habitat for Humanity at
Yeah.
fucking 90-something years old.
collapsing, then going back the next day with like just
Yeah.
a bandage on his head.
Yeah,
like,
he collapses with fucking heat stroke because he's 90-something years old and comes back the
building
next
houses.
day. Yeah. In the
Like-
heat of the summer. This
And,
man's a
like-
fucking legend. Bill
How-
Clinton's over there getting his dick sucked.
How is it that? How is it that like, for 8 years George Bush was the most evil man in the world, and now, just because of the shit that happens now, he's revered. Like, people look back on Bush like, oh man,
the
yeah,
good old days.
yeah,
The good old days of the Republican Party where we're like, yeah, let's go invade countries.
yeah.
Not ruin our own fucking country.
The only thing that I hate is it's under Biden. He's such a company man. It's just gonna go back to the like
Obama days.
which country has oil? You know, let's go find them.
Yes, which is a whole other thing to do, but we got to
Yeah.
get back to there. We got to get back to square one.
Yeah, we got to get back to
And-
our country not being a third world country.
And that's something I want to talk about with you because this podcast has been pretty fucking long. Actually, I don't think it has. We've only hit the button once.
It's been fun. I've
So-
done it 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, one time got close.
Yeah. So that's something we need to talk about the country going forward. Is I
Getting-
feel like people who are in Congress are too old.
Yeah, we need term
So-
limits.
We need term limits. We need a cap on the age.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're over your 60s,
What are you doing making legislation that you're not going to have to live through?
don't make legislation. Advise. Advise if you're that old because
Yeah.
you're wise. Yeah, you know you've gone through some shit. You're wise. Like
Yeah.
I love Bernie Sanders. He's great, but he's too old. He's in his
Yeah.
70s. I didn't want to vote for him I would have voted for him for president if he was elected the Democratic nominee.
Yeah.
I would have voted for him in a heartbeat. I love that man.
Yeah.
He's just so old, man. The concern I have is he might die during presidency, and I have
Yeah.
that with Biden and Trump. They're
Yeah.
they're all three in their 70s.
Do you know who's going to be old enough to run in 2024?
Who?
AOC.
Really? Now she won't ever win. She's too divisive as a
Yeah.
decisive.
I don't know. Bernie is too.
Oh, she's way more though.
Yeah,
People
because she's
hate
young.
her just on a name basis. AOC, hate that chick. I don't. I love AOC.
She is queen.
She is. And so that's what I want to talk about.
She can show us the way.
She is the new way.
She is the way.
She is the new way.
Yeah.
People like her are what need to be in politics.
Yeah.
People who are not
Leftists who are honestly left. Like,
Not
that is the
even
crazy
that.
thing.
I don't care. I don't think that we should be like, well, our political beliefs are what need to be represented.
Well, no, but like, I feel like too many people, like, not the biggest Pelosi fans, but she's not too much of a pushover, like, in the way of, like, giving to the Republican Party, but there are a lot of pushover Democrats right now in Congress, where AOC is, like, there has to be some divisive, some in the middle, and then negotiation. But you do need the representation of far left ideas to, like, be in the room. Yeah, I agree with them, but that doesn't mean they're the correct thing for the whole country, but you still need someone saying those ideas to the room.
Exactly. You need
Yeah.
someone who can say those ideas to the other side.
Yeah.
And now both sides need that.
Yeah.
Now, both sides, but what we need, so a lot of people don't realize, and I've told you this several times over the last few days, that the founding fathers were in their late 20s, 30s. Like,
Yeah.
they were all mostly under 40.
Wasn't one of them like considered really old and he was like mid 40s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
he
most
was-
of the founding fathers, were these revolutionary people. The people who you vilified, in the civil rights movement, all these other people,
Yeah.
all these hippies, yuppies, all that sort of stuff during the 60s that you vilified were the same exact age as the founding fathers who you glorify.
Yeah. The 20 and 30-year-olds today are too dumb, but I'm going to hold what a 20 to 30-year-old said on a piece of old parchment paper up on this holy grail of this is how we need to live.
Yeah.
The Bill of Rights, the
and
Constitution.
When you read the Constitution and the Federalist Papers, which explain the Constitution, it fits in a weird way with what's going on today. And yes, the founding fathers were a bunch of racists,
Yeah.
because they had slaves.
Yeah.
But it's almost like there was a comedian. Who was the comedian that said that?
I think it's Joe Rogan. They wrote it with a quill using candlelight.
Well, but no, there was a comedian. It was a minority comedian who said that they're here to cash the check the founding fathers wrote.
Dave
Chappelle. That's who.
Yeah.
Okay, that's who it was. Yeah, and that is the perfect way of looking at it, because when you read it, you don't see any racist things in there. There's no remarks about slavery. Like in the Bible explains how to buy and sell slaves.
Yeah.
In the Constitution and anything, there's nothing like that. There's nothing that I'm aware of, because I haven't delved too deep in it, which I'm sure someone will point it out. But there's nothing abhorrently racist about it. I like what Dave Chappelle said, is that
All men are created equal.
and Black Lives Matter movements, the civil rights movement, is here to cash that check that the founding fathers wrote.
We've had 200 years of all men being equal. You paying that forward at all? Like, you gonna
Yeah.
reimburse us a little?
These people don't understand the Constitution or anything of its nature. I read the part about the militia the other day. They don't understand what the militia is. It's supposed to be a well-trained army against tyranny and
No, I'm supposed to just have a gun on my front porch and just shoot
to
people.
fight democracy. That's
Yeah.
what they're fighting, is actual democracy.
Yeah, they're fighting voters.
Yeah, they're fighting the people down the street who voted the wrong way. I use quotation marks around that.
Yeah.
They voted against what they thought.
Yeah.
And
Which you are allowed to think other people voted wrong. But you're not allowed to force your will on others because you think
you're
they're
not
wrong.
allowed to storm Capitol Hill and say that this is a fraud when there's no physical, factual evidence that is the case.
Yeah. So while we have Dave Chappelle in the air, I saw this video again. I've seen it several times, and it's a great video of Dave, where this is a complete aside from racism and everything, but he's talking with this interview, and she's like, "Why did you leave fame? Why did you just disappear?" And he's like talking about how there's this monkey who loves salt, and he just constantly wanted to eat salt, and they're addicted to it. So what these guys would do when they couldn't find water is they would take salt and put it in a trap in the ground, and the monkey could find salt easy, so he runs over, finds the salt, puts his hand in, grabs the salt, can't get his hand out. Now all he has to do is let go of the salt, and then he can take his hand out, but he wants that fucking salt. So they come over, grab the monkey, throw him in a cage, give him all the salt he wants till he's dehydrated and thirsty. Let him out. First thing he's going to do is run to the local water supply. They'll follow the monkey. Now they both have water. And he was like...
Monkey salt.
And he was like, yeah, sure. In the end, everyone's happy. But one of the people is being used here. And in that story, I'm the monkey. And I let go of the salt. And it was just He's just so smart, just the way he constantly like thinks. Like,
Yeah.
just whenever Dave talks, I just like look at him and just like, this motherfucker knows.
Yeah, no, I get where that was coming with the show, how he let go of it and was like, I don't want
Yeah.
to do this anymore. I'm not going to give you your watering hole of money.
Yeah.
The Chappelle Show.
Like, yeah, at the end of the day, we both are getting stuff out of it.
But
But
you're getting
I'm
way
do-
more out of it.
Yeah, I'm done dancing for you.
Yeah.
Like, you did nothing to earn the watering hole.
Yeah, you came to me, and I showed you my own watering hole,
Yeah.
and you ran it dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So
You built a fucking pipe system that took the water back to your fucking camp.
yeah, but like so back to what we were talking
Yeah.
about. With what were we talking about? The founding fathers.
Yeah, the founding fathers.
So what I wanted to say is
All men are
I
equal.
feel like we need to create some sort of a thing where the people who are representing the government are the people who are going to be benefiting from it.
Yeah.
Why are 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, because Pelosi's I think in her 80s.
Fuck.
Why are they making laws?
When they can literally drop dead at any fucking minute.
That, and why are they making laws for people who are 70 years younger than them?
Yeah.
Why are they making laws for that? I feel like you and I could make laws better for people who will be born in the next 10 years.
I think the average 25 to 35-year-old that has like any level of higher education, whether they got an associate's, a bachelor's, a doctorate, a whatever, master's, they could easily write legislation that's more fair and well-rounded than what's currently being written.
I agree, and I disagree with that. I don't think it should be based on education.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, just as a very broad brush, like, all the people in that category are going to write better legislation than someone in their 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, better than them. I'm not saying that they're the best option as a whole. I'm just saying, literally, you could cherry pick any person in their low 30s with a bachelor's degree, put them in office, and they'll look at all these like stats and numbers and just be like, why are we trying to pass that bill? That's bullshit.
So yeah, no. Well, I think it's a team effort. There needs to be that representative, and then that representative has clerks and stuff like that, and people who went to law school to then write up legislation for them. That's how Congress works. And usually the representative usually has some sort of degree as well in something. That's just how it goes. But I don't think that matters. I don't think the representative needs to have that.
Oh, yeah.
As long
I
as they
don't
have a
think so
team
either.
behind them who's good enough. I don't think AOC went to college, did she?
Yeah, she did.
She did?
Yeah, that's why she was a bartender paying her way through school.
Well, yeah, but she was 25. At that point, you're out of school.
Well, yeah, but she went to school, graduated, then got into politics.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I love her, so. Anyway.
Yes, she went to school.
What did she go to school for?
Probably political science. I don't fucking know. I don't simp for her that hard.
Not that hard, but
yeah,
I'm actually
I simp for her. Dude, I want feet pics.
I'm going to AOC. I'm just Googling AOC. Oh, it comes up, too. Let's see what she went to. She's only 31. Oh, man, she's from Queens. And Rikers Island. I thought that was just a prison. That's just my knowledge from Spider-Man.
Oh, see, you're looking stuff up. I'm looking at text from Emily. She has to go back to Dallas this week, and she hates Dallas.
No one cares. Okay, so she went to Boston University. She served as an intern for Ted Kennedy. So that's actually pretty good. That's actually very good. So she had quite the political career before she became it. So that's why she got into it. So her origin story is not as Captain America as we all think that it is.
Well, I never thought it was. I always figured she was like doing like some level of political work.
The whole I'm a bartender,
Well, she never touted that.
Well, but her grassroots campaign did. That's the other problem with campaigns. There's a lot of fucking things that I want to talk about, Taryn. Campaign reform. You know about Citizens United?
Nope.
That corporations are individual people and they can give as much as they want to as political campaigns?
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's so much campaign reform that needs to be done. Our campaigns, super PACs, all this bullshit. Trump, I think they estimated, I saw something the other day that they estimated from super PACs, Trump has like $250 million that he can do with whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He can do with it whatever
doesn't
he
surprise
wants.
me.
A super PAC.
Yeah.
Several super PACs.
Yeah.
Like, now, I just remember always hearing that AOC was, this bartender and she was just, but she actually had quite a political upbringing.
Well, so people
of her own accord that she did herself.
People,
so I'm very proud of her.
It was right wing people who were like, "She's just a bartender. She's just a bartender." She's like, "No, I'm an elected politician who went to college and worked her way up. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. I did the thing
like you always say.
You say you're supposed to do to get into higher positions of power, and they're like, "No, you're just a bartender." Like that's all that. Like she's just a bartender thing was just them.
Which is so funny. Because it's like, you look back at some of the people who we glorify, as politicians and U.S. legends, American legends.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
Well, just like some of the politicians that we glorify. Oh, Lincoln, he grew up in a log cabin. He was born in a log cabin in Illinois. Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
It was like, no, he was a lawyer. He worked for his shit.
Yeah.
And then you do have several other people who pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and became something,
Yeah.
And to the Republicans, that's nothing. Oh, you're just a bartender. Yeah. Well, you know what? I love bartenders, so.
Yeah.
And guess what? You love bartenders too when you're singing Garth Brooks' "I Got Friends in Low Places." There, you dumb motherfucker.
Dude, we're looking at. I don't even know where we're at. I don't
We're
have that good of vision. We're
deep into it.
Deep.
So.
Speed growing.
Yeah, we've been going deep into this because politics has been the mainstay for this week.
Yeah, dude.
And I hate to bring it up, but unfortunately, it is what I think it is. And I want to talk about you with something that we've talked about before, and I feel like we need to talk about now because I'm very adamant about it. And I don't know how I feel about it. I'm nervous to bring it up.
Trevor, do I need to buy you a suit and tie?
Yes. Preferably one that fits well.
All right.
So,
oh wait, before we get on to that and we continue to talk about what I just said. So after
what?
16 days of waiting for this guy on a website called Grailed. So I bought
That sounds like a porn website.
No, it's a clothes website. I bought you a jacket that was fucking dope. It was a real dark blue, like darker than that blue, bomber jacket with like black sleeves and black right here.
Yeah.
And it was I forget what brand it was, but it was a good brand. And it was exactly your size. And I bought it, paid him. And after like 16 days, he finally was like, "Oh, never mind. I decided I'm going to keep it," and sent me my money back.
What the fuck?
So I still need to buy you a Christmas gift. So I'll find you a good suit.
Okay. All right. So that's what we need to talk about. I've talked about this before, and every day that I think about it, I get more and more passionate about it. So I'm considering, I just want to put this out there, I'm strongly considering running for my House of Representatives for my district, which is District 1 in Oregon. Now, the reason I say that, my district is Democratic.
Yeah.
Our current representative, her name is Suzanne Bonamici. Ever since I can remember being a kid, she has been the representative of this district. I always remember hearing about her. What has she done? I don't want to attack her because I don't know that much about her, but I just don't feel like she's done very much. It's just she's just gone with the status quo. Something needs to be done. I looked it up. She's been in power for like a decade now.
Yeah.
Not power. She's been elected, for a decade now, and I think as a representative, what is it, every 2 years?
Yeah. She's 66.
Yeah. So, is she really representing, our district
Yeah.
at this point? Because where we live, we have the world headquarters of Nike, we have the world headquarters of Intel, but then if I remember correctly, our district also covers that little bump in Oregon and a lot of farm country that's not being represented. Now, I'm not super conservative. I just want to get that out there. I'm not very conservative. But I feel like I'm conservative in the right ways.
Yeah.
I'm fiscally
like
conservative.
how-
I'm socially liberal.
Don't say that.
What? I'm not libertarian. I don't think we should be spending $950 billion on the fucking military.
Yeah. I'm okay, so
We can spend $900 billion and still get everything that we want. Like, it's not that difficult.
So, I'm trying to compile my thoughts. So, like one thing that is democratic that I'm pretty against, and we actually talked about this on episode 3 of Surprisingly Music, Anti-Flag, the World Trade Organization,
WTO,
kills farmers and how globalization is killing farmers and stuff. And yeah, better representation for farm countries and stuff like that, and independent farmers and smaller things, because like, isn't it like some statistic like 80% of farmland in America is corn?
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of subsidiaries for corn.
And basically, if you're not growing corn, you're like basically asking to get fucked.
Yeah, you're basically asking to go in debt, because if you don't make corn, because there's so many subsidiaries, I don't know how to pronounce the fucking word. I'm dumb. That's why you should.
But I'm running for office.
Yeah, there's so many subsidiaries for corn that the government pretty much pays you.
Yeah.
To an extra bit on top of what you sell of your corn.
So like,
I've driven through the Midwest several times, like I've said through this podcast, and it is just corn. Like, people are like, oh, Nebraska's full of corn. Well, guess what? Iowa is too. Yeah. Oh, Iowa's full of corn. Well, guess what? Wyoming is too. Like, all these fucking states are full of fucking corn. Like, we don't need that much goddamn corn. But corn is in everything. You have cornstarch and everything. It's so fucking much. Why do we have so much corn? I love popcorn.
So anyway, before you go on more drunken tirades, I'm just saying, like, your viewpoints, I feel like would go across the spectrum a bit better, because you do think about like Republican aspects in the way that Republicans should be thinking about it, but then you also think of very liberal aspects as well, like socialized medicine and stuff like that.
Yeah, we need universal health care.
And especially being in a district that contains one of the most prominent medical programs in the world, OHSU Hospital.
Is it in our district?
Yes, it is.
Oh, you checked?
Yeah.
Oof. He's going to make a great campaign manager.
And so, like, literally one of the most prominent hospitals in the world. And so I feel like that is a very good area when you're near such a large medical institution and talk about things like that. But then you also have the outreach of farmlands and stuff like that, reaching those people and being like, hey, I care about you too. You don't have to just grow corn year round to survive.
Yeah.
Because also then you could get into the whole like health side effects of like how having corn and everything is kind of bad for us and everything. And it's like lowering our age expectations.
I heard something that like our DNA is like not our DNA is corn, but the things that make up our DNA is made up of corn. Like, our DNA strands are mainly like made up of corn.
That's bullshit.
Well, like, because we have so much corn in everything.
That's
like,
no.
It sounds crazy.
That's not how that works.
It sounds crazy.
That isn't. Just don't touch on biology, and we'll be.
I don't know biology.
Yeah.
I heard something say that, and I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Did you listen to the most recent Bill Burr podcast?
I did.
Yeah,
usually listen to them
you,
as I
you
go to
sound
sleep.
like Bert talking about Nicolas Cage having a stroke right now.
I don't remember that part. I must have fallen asleep before that part.
So he's like, "Oh yeah, Nicolas Cage had a stroke right before they started filming The Rock." So he said, like, only film me from my right side.
That didn't happen.
And like, so they pull up the website, and it was just this bullshit fake news website, and it had like these ridiculous facts. He's like, "Oh yeah, I just read the first one."
Yeah, that's what I sound like. So, anyway, this is going great.
So you're running for office.
Yeah. So, anyway, but yeah, you're right. I am all over the spectrum in the best of ways, I think. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. This is supposed to be serious. So, I think that we can all agree that our voter rights need to be restored. Voter rights have been very mishandled.
Yeah.
The Voting Rights Act that got rid of Jim Crow laws in the 60s was dismantled by the Supreme Court several years ago. And they're trying to get that passed back through with the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. John Lewis, the famous African-American congressman who just died recently. They're trying to get that
Rest in
passed
peace.
through. Yeah. Another example that I saw was Florida. So felons are not allowed to vote.
Yeah.
So in Florida, they passed a law, or was it? I think it was federally. They passed a law that gave, or no, it was in Florida specifically. The governor passed a law that allowed felons to vote after a certain time. I think it was.
And they also had to pay off like.
No. So
that was separate
so
then,
this is what happened next. The next governor undid that by saying that they had to pay all their criminal court fines and then go in front of a hearing of the governor and his cabinet and be okayed to then vote.
Yeah.
Which, guess what? Surprisingly, a majority, like 90% of them, were not allowed to vote again. Now, I believe that if you've served your time, then you deserve your stuff. You deserve it back.
Taxation without representation. If I have to go to work and literally pay the government, I should get a say in what happens to my government.
Yeah. So if you're, I mean, if you paid, if you paid your
dues.
your debt to society for what you've done, then you should get your say back.
Yeah.
You paid your debt, therefore you are back at zero, like everyone else.
Yeah, like prison is one of the most horrifying, terrible places one person could
Prison
end up
reform is a huge thing. We can all agree that private prisons are bad.
Yeah.
Can we not? Can we not agree with that private prisons are bad?
No, I'd rather profit off of prisons.
They're incredibly racist.
Let's buy protected wetlands by putting Republicans in office. By putting bad politicians in office, I'll change that because I'm sure there's some evil fucking Democrats that also are doing this. But like that's such a common thing. Rich people trying to push lawmakers and governors and stuff into office so they could buy up protected wetlands to build for-profit prisons on.
Yeah, that is always strange. Especially on the West Coast, you'll find that prisons are always near like natural reserves.
Yeah, and funny enough, BoJack Horseman touched on that. And I thought that was hilarious because I was learning about that when that season aired. So I was like,
yeah,
I know this one.
So, I mean, there's just a lot of things that I feel like, go across the spectrum. Gun reform. So let's just say that you are a man who likes his guns. You like your guns.
I mean, I like guns.
Guns are fun to go shoot. Let's be honest. Guns are fun to go shoot.
Yeah.
So,
we're at the 2-hour mark.
Jesus. So we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, I was going to try that a while ago.
Guns are fun to shoot. But we don't want fucking some crazy psychopath to go shooting your children in your school, do you?
Yeah, no.
So can we make it a little more difficult for the people who are deserving to get the guns so we weed out the people like that?
Yeah.
and make it a little bit harder for the people to illegally get the guns, like the Kenosha Kid.
So
Kyle Rittenhouse. Always forget his name, so I always end up calling him that. What I don't want to call him that. Kyle Rittenhouse. That's his name.
Murderer and criminal Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yes.
So I don't understand why guns aren't just handled the same as cars. You have a license, and then you have documentation saying that this gun is assigned to you.
When there's a hit and run, it's pretty. It's most of the time pretty easy to find out who it was. With the amount of stuff, with a plate or something like that. I don't know if that's going to work exactly like the same for guns, but I get where you're going with that. Just a quick other thing, so we probably should wrap it up.
Yeah.
But is UBI so bad? Universal Basic Income, is that so bad? Is that across? Like, I'm gonna just say it. I can guarantee you that if you were to do the statistics, that the Republican Party, actually no, I'm gonna say that that's probably wrong. But you usually see a lot of poor Republicans.
Yeah.
The My Name Is Earl kind of people.
Yeah.
Which is a great show.
Never watched it.
It was a pretty good show.
So, my counter argument would
UBI.
Yeah, to UBI would be something more in line with where does most people's money go to? Like, so say UBI was set to $1,000 a month. This is very easy for us. Both of us pay close to $1,000 in rent.
Yeah.
We would see that $1,000 a month as that's our rent money.
Yeah.
Awesome. So why not instead put a legal cap on rent per square foot or something? Like, where it's like, instead of giving people money to, in a way, because there will be people who mistreat it. That's inevitable. 99% won't. Most people use it to enhance their livelihood, stimulate the economy, help out their fellow man. But when you're literally handed $1,000, you could go buy cocaine. You could go do blow with your friends. You could buy you could be irresponsible as you fucking want with it. And sure, I'm cool with people being adults. And
choosing to do that, that is their I don't want to say their right to do that, because I guess
it's their right to spend it on stupid shit.
But one thing that I've learned about the welfare systems that are in place now is that the amount of money that it would take to go after those people is significantly more than the amount that they're actually stealing. I use that in quotes from the government.
Yeah.
So I have faith.
Yeah. But I think a better way to keep money in the citizen's pocket is to lower the expenditures of, quality living.
But then you're capping the economy in a way. You're saying that the property companies can only do this much, then in turn the utility companies can only do this much. So then in turn their employees can only spend this much, and then you're kind of putting a cap on the economy. Because now it's just a trickle down effect, which I hate saying that word because it's been co-opted by the Republicans, and trickle down economics, which is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Which just came out a 50-year study of that.
Yeah.
Which means it started in the fucking 70s.
Yeah.
But it's just this trickle down effect. So the utility employees can only pay this much, and there's a lot of people employed by the utilities, so then they can only pay this much to these people, and those people in that industry can only pay this much, and it's just this. While I agree, it would have to be subsidized, not capped. Yeah. So that would basically mean that, the government would have to pay.
Taxpayer dollars would make up the difference.
So if you're paying, $1,500 in rent, we capped it at a certain square footage, and your square footage capped at 1,000. The government's paying $500 worth of your rent. Yeah. And I don't know, because then you get into weird, quandaries about this rent is capped at 2,000, and
living in Los Angeles, definitely the rent is going to be different than living in Missouri.
Yeah. Yeah. Texarkana or fucking Lincoln, Nebraska, New Orleans, they're all going to be crazy different because prices and property fluctuate. So that's why it's
Yeah.
really hard to keep it that way. That's why I think UBI
Yeah.
will keep people within their limits, and it's a culture change. Politics require a culture change.
But then, like, in the same way, $1,000 spends differently in every state.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, just a one-size-fits-all total wouldn't be the answer. Just saying, like, $1,000 for every adult, and then, like...
But federally, you would have to make it that way.
Yeah, because every state, it's not fair. But it's like, it is fair.
New York, $1,000 in fucking... In Manhattan, does you fucking jack shit.
Yeah, 1,000 in Los Angeles, nothing.
Jack fucking
$1,000 in...
$1,000 here in Portland would be helpful.
Yeah.
Barely for some
Yeah.
people. We live outside of Portland.
Yeah.
But for people who live in Portland, that would help.
Dude, I'm fucking hungry. Let's wrap this shit up.
Yeah. But I just feel like, I'm seriously considering it. That was
Yeah.
the main thing. Because I
Yeah.
feel like young people need to do it. It's their civic duty to do it. We need to stop relying on these old people,
Yeah.
While yes, they've been grateful, we need to really invest in our civic duty of learning about what happens.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was until 2016 when young people really started to care.
Yeah. Once it was just like, wow, really anyone can be elected into the highest form of office and can just swing their weird mushroom dick around and just like basically like, I'm just going to sign executive orders. You're not going to pass my law. I don't care. I'll just sign executive orders. Where it's like, holy shit, politics are fucked. Because it was always used to be like everyone was too afraid to do that.
And we still have people too afraid to do it. We have Mitch McConnell who's too afraid
to do
anything. We have all these Republicans and Democrats who are just too afraid to go against party lines.
Yeah.
When no, it's like your elected representatives, you need to go out preaching your platform and getting people to buy into it. So you have this support. Like that's what does it, is support. That's how the Me Too movement started. It started with people like, you need to speak out against that. That wasn't some elected representative pushing their agenda.
We didn't like elect a woman to be like, all right, you're gonna go out there and talk. Like people just started talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grassroots.
No one elected Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, but she went out there and talked about climate change, which is another thing that we can all get into.
Oh my god! Okay, we're done today.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like that's another thing that that everyone can get on board with because it's detrimental to everyone.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at.
All right. If you stuck with us this fucking long,
you stuck with us this fucking long, you deserve a fucking gold medal.
Yeah. Give us your Patreon. All right.
Yeah, we'll give to you.
Yeah.
Start a Patreon. We'll give to you. Check us out on the Surprisingly Tweeter. Surprisingly Words.
Surprising Twit.
Surprising.
Dude,
why do I always forget that?
You have never remembered it.
Surprising Twit.
And then Surprisingly Podcast Instagram.
Yeah.
And listen to us on Spotify. Listen to us on Apple Music, etc., etc. If you prefer seeing our faces for some fucking reason, keep watching here on YouTube. I say keep watching here on YouTube as if that's like watch us on YouTube. I don't know. I'm hungry. Okay, I'm fucking hungry.
I don't like the way you say that. So I'm going to we're gonna r/sign off. Woo! Fucking Jesus. That was a fun one. Dude, fuck.